All right, guys, welcome back to another interview on mmaunhinged. I'm joined by Dalton Rosta. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. I'm not too sure why I muted you there, so sorry about that. Thanks for adjusting that. But yes, I'm glad you're doing well. And obviously, fight week is coming upon us. How does that feel? Soon.
Feels good, man. It always feels like the last 2 weeks are the longest because the anticipation, all the hard work's done. You're tapering down your training, finishing the last sparring sessions, putting on the finishing touches, and it just seems like it's going by super slow.
Yeah, all the fighters seem to say that. And obviously, when you get to the fight day, that's the best part, isn't it? That's when you get a showcase of everything they've been working on.
Yes, sir.
And it's just the training. That's the nitty gritty bit. That's where you just got to get past it. But yes, just before we went on air, we were talking about your dogs. You were showing me, and obviously they're absolutely adorable. I'm very jealous.
Yeah. His name's Pegasus. Got him a week ago. 9 weeks old.
Incredible. I wish I could have one. Just quickly send it through the laptop. That'd be brilliant. Thank you.
Lady that gave me him, so you can get one yourself.
All right, so first and foremost, obviously another Bellator fight. Your whole career has been inside Bellator. It's phenomenal. You've been a very, very good servant under the Bellator, promotion. But obviously, talk to me about your time inside Bellator and obviously fighting on the event of Bellator 289.
It's been great. I'm like you said, all of my fights have been with Bellator. I would have liked to fight 3 times every year, be a little bit further in my fight career, fight wise. But I'm right where I'm supposed to be, and I'm undefeated. Going into my 8th fight, I'm ranked in the top 5. Nothing could be better.
Yeah, exactly. You say undefeated 7-0. You can't really complain, eh? And obviously, doing it on the big show, so all that experience is going to add up.
Yes, sir.
And obviously, as I talked about, just then, Bellator 289, December 9th, 2 title fights, a big event. You're fighting alongside some of your teammates as well. Talk to me about that. Obviously, Danny and Cody Law. So talk to me about that, and obviously about the fighting on the big event.
Yeah, those 2, and then Mike Lombardo as well. So there's 4 of us. Yeah. I mean, we've all been training together. We're all getting ready for our fights. Obviously, we have different opponents and everything, but we have most of the same coaches. Mike Brown and Anderson train with me and Cody, and Mike also trains with both Mike and Danny Sabatello, but they have different striking coaches. And, I think we're going to go to Bellator December 9th, put on a show, and people are going to be talking about ATT like they usually do.
Then obviously, Danny's got a big fight against Rafael Stotts. So is Cody Law against Chris. And obviously your other teammate. Talk to me how Danny is going to get on in the big main event.
I think he'll win a decision or like a late finish against Rafael Stotts, because Stotts seems to get a little bit tired later in the fight. He showed that against Juan Archuleta, and he hasn't fought somebody as good at wrestling as Danny. He's national champ Division II, but so was his teammate in college, Romero Cotton, who I just fought and knocked out, and I also out-wrestled him. So I think we might see the same with Danny and Rafael. Rafael thinks he's going to be able to out-wrestle Danny, but I think he has a hell of a surprise coming.
Well, let's talk about you. This is what we're here for. Enough of them. Let's talk about Dalton Rosta. And you talked about there Romero Costa. That's conveniently, I kind of wanted to bring that up before we talked about the Anthony Adams fight. But obviously, a dominating performance, very, very dominating performance. And obviously, the Superman punch, that was the beginning of the end. Talk to me about your performance as a whole, how you look back on it now.
Yeah, I mean, every aspect of the game, the striking, the wrestling, the grappling, everything. I controlled the distance. I controlled the pace. I completely dominated that fight. He was 6-0. He was ranked above me, and I proved why he shouldn't have been. And, that's part of the sport. Sometimes you don't get the respect you deserve until you fight somebody who has that respect, and then you take it away from them. And that's exactly what happened. And from the very beginning to dominate all the way through the fight, all the way to Superman punch and then the left hook to the knockout. I mean, it was beautiful. It's a great feeling. And I think it definitely elevated me.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better myself. That word beautiful just summed it up perfectly. It was a fantastic performance. The way you put it on, the way you set it up, everything, the way you went about it was just absolutely spectacular. It was like a poetry in motion when I was watching it.
Yeah. I was just saying in a couple interviews before this, I was actually trying to set up the flying knee as well. But both the flying knee and the Superman punch, you have to leave the ground for both. And anytime you give a wrestler your hips, give it to them, a freebie where they don't even have to shoot in for it. usually it's a gift for them. So I really had to pick and choose whenever I was going to throw it. And the Superman punch came before the flying knee. You know, he kept circling to my right into my power hand, but he was circling back and away. So he was doing like a little L or J circle out. And that's the correct way you should circle if you're circling away from somebody's power hand. But, you know, the Superman punches, they can get you.
Yeah, and obviously it did get him, put him on a little bit of skates. But let's talk about your next assignment against Anthony Adams. He made his Bellator debut, sorry, in his last outing. If you have watched that fight, what did you make of his last performance?
I think he's athletic. I think he has some good striking. You know, he has a quick jab, but, you know, nothing I haven't seen before. I fought better strikers than him. I've trained with better strikers. I've outstruck better strikers than him. And, you know, this is an MMA fight. It's not just striking. So as much as I'd love to go in there and prove that I'm the better all-around striker and I could just put on a striking clinic on him, I plan to go in there and mix it up, you know, wrestle and strike, you know, and I plan to make sure he doesn't know when either's coming. You know, he could sit there and guess and anticipate all fight long, but it's just going to lead to him getting punched in the face.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely agree. I think this is another great step up for yourself in your career. I know Romero Cotton was undefeated. It was a big test for you, but I feel like this is another one because obviously Anthony Adams been on the Contender Series twice now. Might not have had success, but you know, he's had that chance, and he's, you know, now he's fighting on Bellator. So obviously, as I was talking about, so what's going to be the difference ultimately on the night between these two?
I think the biggest difference is going to be the power. Going to be the pressure, and going to be the ability to mix it up. You know, this is MMA. I'm a much better MMA fighter. You know, I'm a better striker. I'm a better wrestler. I'm a better grappler. But when it comes to MMA, I'm much better. So I think that's going to show the most.
A finish in your last fight in spectacular fashion, and I can only presume in your mind you're wanting to make that back-to-back.
Hell yeah. I want to go back to my finishing ways. You know, my whole entire amateur career and my first 3 pro fights were all finishes. And then I went on a string of decisions. You know, I could sit there and make excuses if I want to, but I'm not going to. I'm just plan on from here on out, you know, fixing that and getting finishes, leaving it out of the judges' hands.
Yeah, this is a fantastic fight. As I thought, this is number 5 yourself versus number 10. With a win over, you know, Anthony. What does that do for yourself in the rankings? I know it most likely won't put you to number 3 or 4. It won't move you up, but what would it do for yourself and obviously in your career?
Well, it depends on how quick I finish them and how devastating I finish them. I think if I do so in devastating fashion and quick fashion, I think it can move me up to 3 or 4. You know, Tokov's getting the next title fight, and John Salter just keeps turning down fights, and he hasn't fought since March. So maybe if I finish him early and finish him in devastating fashion, then I get moved up to 4, Tokov gets moved up to 3, and then John Salter gets moved down to 5, you know. But realistically, if that doesn't happen, I probably won't move. But I think I'm definitely deserving of that number 3 spot or number 4 spot, and I think John Salter should be out of there. He's turned me down twice now, so I don't know what the reasons are. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's running like Romero Cotton was. He's a vet. You know, he probably has his reasons, whether they're injuries or whatever, but the fight hasn't come to fruition, and that's still a fight that I would like. So maybe after this fight, I get a fight with him.
Absolutely. I was actually about to ask you, obviously, without overlooking Anthony Adams. I presume that you've got your eye up on the top 4. So you've just mentioned there John Salter, who potentially you would like next.
Yeah, and I'm not overlooking anybody. I'm focused on Anthony Adams right now. But you always have to look at the big picture. You know what I mean? You have a goal in mind at the end of the day. And like people like to say, Rome wasn't built in a day, or when you're going to build a wall, you build it brick by brick. You don't build the whole wall in one day. But the overall goal is building Rome, or building that wall. You know what I mean? So I have the overall goal in my mind, but it's step by step. And right now I'm focused on this step ahead of me.
And then my last question I have for you, Dalton. Obviously, give me a prediction. Actually, I don't want a prediction. I know fighters don't like giving a prediction, but give me a summary of your performance on December 9th.
I'm going to go in there. I'm out-strike him, out-wrestle him, and out-grapple him, and put a lot of pressure on him and get a finish. I don't know what the finish is going to be. Like I said, I'm a mixed martial artist, so it could come anywhere. But the goal is the finish. I plan to finish him, and I will finish him. And before I start predicting rounds, I want to get back to my finishing ways first.
Absolutely. Back-to-back finishes would be an absolute statement. And obviously against Anthony Adams, be an even better statement. Obviously, a veteran, you know, had chances on Contender Series, but you fought some good guys, and I feel like this is another good step in your career.
Yes, sir. And you know, we'll see where I am after this fight, but I think I should definitely get a step up.
Absolutely agree. I think you should get the top four next. I think maybe even I know there's Fabian Edwards up in there.
Yeah, I would have liked that fight for this one as well, but he had a fight October 29th in Milan, and
Yeah, against Charlie Ward. Yep.
yeah, so everybody in the top 10 was kind of tied up, and that's how I ended up with Anthony Adams. You know, besides him, I mean, in the top, all you have is Gegard Mousasi. I don't know what his timeline is for his return or anything, or what Bellator has planned for him, if he's getting a rematch for the title or what. I don't know. So I'm not the matchmaker. I'm here to fight whatever they put in front of me. There's fights that I would like, but I'm focusing on what I'm going to get.
Absolutely agree. Thank you so much. An absolute pleasure. I wish you the best of luck on December 9th. And obviously, I wish you the best of luck with your new puppy as well. I hope he's well paved.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, my man. Have a good rest of your day and enjoy rainy Florida.
Yep, you too.